Hello everybody, Vince Burke here. I want to go over something I've been seeing in the clinic, even from the weekend warrior to the professional athlete. It's an Achilles rupture. We often get Achilles tendonitis. We kind of put some heel lifts in everybody, do some stretches, a little cold pack stim, a little grass stim, a little foam rolling. But then when we leave that controlled environment of stretching and dynamic movements, we go back to the core, and there you're in an environment where it's unpredictable. But the thing is that I want to go over a little bit of the anatomy of the foot as to why we're seeing a lot of injuries, especially with basketball players with the Achilles tendon of a rupture. So here you have the anatomy of the foot, okay? So you have a calf muscle that goes from here and it goes all the way down here, wraps around. And then there's other muscles here, okay? And it inserts into here and even goes connections into the foot. So what happens is the function of this calf muscle, if you look at me here, it's to do that. So your foot does this, okay? But if you think about a lot of the pro athletes, they fly at night, during the day. Flying dehydrates you. Then they could have coffee, pre-workouts, caffeine. That also dehydrates you. And then when you exercise and train, that dehydrates you. And then they go back to their hotel room or whatever it is, and they're sitting, laying down, and now they're also crimping the hose. So they're laying down and everything is just kind of like in a blood clot position. Think about that. So they are so vulnerable for blood clots, decrease in circulation, dehydration, exercise through the roof. So those are all prerequisites of tearing anything. But the Achilles tendon, okay, has an area which we call the red zone, the critical zone, which is right about here, okay? If you take your knuckle and I bend it like this, okay, I'm decreasing my circulation here. So that's vulnerable to get an area of injury. If I open it up, it increases the circulation. But now let's apply that to strength training, okay? And applying some science to all what we know. Often the athlete does not do anything of a dynamic stretch, okay, and then put them in a position to produce force. A dynamic stretch, produce force. Dynamic stretch and produce force. Then in basketball, right, you produce force where you jump in the air, okay, so you jump in the air, and this foot goes like this. Absorb force, and then often it goes toe, heel. And then all of a sudden, sometimes it does that. So we produce force and then absorb force. Well, at this point, this is where the injury happens. So I'm going to go over with you some of the areas where we need to look at when we're thinking about training. And I call this toe bounce training, and then doing, of course, the athletic set. So we're going to, first of all, Casey here is my model. She did a whole dynamic warm-up. We just did a whole workout, by the way, so you got to excuse this. All right, so now what you're going to do is you're going to stretch over. So come on over here. So now her heel is going to be here on the ground. Come on over here, Tony, and you just leave it there and step over. That's it. Boom. Leave the heel on the ground. Thanks. And back. Leave that heel. Yep. So now by stepping on it, she's actually putting that on a dynamic stretch. But the difference here is that the ground is pinning her. Okay? And back. Now she's going to squat for me. So go ahead, come back, and then come back. Yep, and then squat. And now she's squatting. Okay? Feet straight ahead. And now she's squatting. And then stay right there. So she's stretching all this, okay? Now come back and squat. And then she's stretching all this here and come back, okay? And now you're off that. Okay, so now we did some dynamic warm-up. So now you're gonna come on here. And when we think about doing a step up, 3 things that we could think about a step up in. A step up, and then come to the side, and stop right here. When she landed, no, come up again, and go totally to the side. To the side here, yeah. Now, she landed more to the side here, thanks. Yeah. So she landed, do it again. Thank you. Okay, she landed toe, heel, and she's coming down. She stretched it, okay? But there was no bounce to it. Do 5 more. And there's no bounce to it, which is fine. Okay? And stop. Now I'm gonna add a little bounce to it where she's not gonna touch the ground with her heel. That's the area where we're doing some dynamic stabilization, dynamic producing force, and really tugging on that tendon. So go ahead. Ready up? No. Yeah, you're good. It's okay. Where she's not touching the ground with the heel. Yep. That's it. Yep. And rest. So now, a lot of the times the injuries happen where you're coming up this way, Casey, on your toes, and then we come down, and then we push. That's where we're finding the injuries. Now you're gonna come forward. Step up. Forward, toe heel, yeah. That's it, toe heel. Don't want to put that right leg. Toe heel. Now we're doing forward. So now there's less of a stretch when you come forward, right? Go ahead. Good, and now it's gonna come back. Now she's gonna step back. Now here, this is where it happens. So you're gonna come forward, right? And then go toe, heel, stop. This is where we stretch it. But I want her now to leave tension on that tendon and she's not gonna hit the ground. Go ahead, up, and a little bounce, boom, bounce, bounce. So see how she's bouncing? That's where the athletes make that tear because they're making a transition between eccentric loading, stabilization, and producing force. The amortization phase of the calf tendon junction. So that's really important. So now that's where you understand that you need to have some kind of training where you're getting some bounce. We're going to take it a little more functional. Come on over here. Okay, so now the big thing here is that you want to change different angles of your foot. So come on, Case, up. I'll face this way. Yeah, this way. Yeah. Okay, now you're going to come up on your toes the whole time. Come up and do a side shuffle to the side. Watch, right there. Good, side shuffle to the whole time. Up, side shuffle to the whole time. Yep. On her toes the whole time. On your toes the whole time and do a step up, okay? Step up, on your toes. Yep, keep on coming.
Go.
Yeah. On your toes and rest. If you look at the foot and the foot, it kept on doing this. It kept on bouncing like this. Now we're going to do the athletic set for the calf. So you come up here. Okay, come on here, Tony. Okay. So the athletic set, okay, you're going to come up, okay, and you're going to hold that there for 10 seconds. You're really working this, and look at how much tension's on that, okay? And hold that for 10 seconds, okay? And that's the far portion of the athletic set. Then you're going to come down to mid. Okay, still tension and a lot of air under here. You're not making contact with anything. And then you're going to go near, where now it's near. Now I'm really pulling on this tendon. And what I'm doing here is I'm deciding on my work range of motion when I'm doing the athletic set. Now she's going to give me 10 reps quick concentric explode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And all the way up. And now she can do 7 reps tempo. 3 down, 3 up. 1, 2 fast. 2, 3, push. 1, 2, 3, push. 1, 2, 3, push. And she's producing force from her, the inside, the big toe, pushing off, really pushing down, pushing, and getting some good force production from her foot all the way into her calf. Okay, now the last set is the dynamic phase of the athletic set. So she's going to go at the end range and push up, boom, and bounce down, 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 and off. So if you look at the Achilles tendon, it was actually bouncing. That's when our athletes get injured. So here we are in the clinic and doing athletic performance training. This is so specific for an injury that's chronic, sidelines the athletes. So for the NBA, right? No more basketball Achilles injuries if you do some of this for the athletes, okay? Till next time, Vince Burke, injury prevention all the way, little sports performance training. Casey Burke here, thanks, and Tony Burke on the camera.